What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Oh, That's Random Podcast. I am your host, that guy, the one and only Nerdy G. This is the podcast where we take a little time to explore the extraordinary and ordinary. If this is your first time here, welcome to the most extraordinary, wonderful place that is Oh, That's Random Podcast. Brought to you by Nerdy's Umbrella. And who other than is Nerdy? Your guy right here. Listen, the best way to support, like, subscribe, share, do all that good old stuff. A couple of little merch things going across the screen right now. Slide on over there. Links are all in the description. Nerdy-g-fourthwall.com. And pick up some of that nerdy merch, right? I'm donning one right now. It's passing over opportunities repeatedly. Ladies and gentlemen, don't be poor out there. Take those opportunities as they come. They ain't nothing but a challenge. And who don't like a good old challenge? You watch challenges on TV. So why not take challenges in your life? Listen, y'all already know how we like to do it here, okay? I like to get right to it. And today is no different, and I'm going to get right into it. I'm going back to some parenting stuff today, some parenting things, because here's the deal. Whatever's on is random, right? This is randomness, but this is things that I'm sharing my life with you, but also, too, you may be going through this, somebody you know may be going through this, and we need some type of solutions, or we need some type of answers, or some type of whatever, because not everybody is going to have the answers, or not everybody's going to have somebody to talk to them or hear some of these things that, you might want to keep to yourself, but I'm going to talk about them. So, parenting, and I'm talking about teenagers, high school, teenagers, all of this good old stuff, right? The mindset that the children have today is, in my opinion, not the mindset that I had when I was in high school, not the mindset that my parents had when they were in high school, and so forth, right? Or so on and so on. Here's the kicker. These kids today, they seem a little bit more lax. They seem a little bit more, it's cool, I'll figure it out. I'll get it, And I want to kind of bring this to light because I have a 14-year-old, and we're in the stages of, hey, it's time to go get this college thing. It's time to go, figure out what it is, where you want to go in life, right? I know some of you guys might say 14, that's early. Listen, overseas, they do it like when they 5 and 6. So 14, we already behind. So I'll just leave it at that. But here we are already, right? So you got to start thinking about things. Okay, what interests you? Could you see yourself doing this as a job? Having those talks with kids today, it's like nails on a chalkboard, pulling teeth, watering, or cutting a big ass yard with just one of those manual mowers. It's exhausting, is what I'm saying. It's exhausting. It's like you wanna grab them. But, we're not in that society anymore where you can grab your children and shake them up a little bit. We're not there because they can call the people, and then you already know how that's going to go. It's going to be some crazy stuff behind that, but neither here nor there, right? Having the conversation, some of us, it's more of we're not trying to tell you, It's more of a asking, inquisitive type of discovery. What is it that you want to do? What is it that you see yourself doing? What is it that you want for yourself? And then you have to ask them like questions like, why do you think this way? Or what is the rush for this? Back in my day, it was more, I sound old. Okay. Listen, but when I was coming up, right, it was more of, you're going to focus on either academics or you're going to focus on your sports, right? And one or the other, you know what I'm saying? We didn't have programs where you can graduate high school with an associate's degree. I think that is dope. I think that is fire. I think that saves the parents some money, and it makes me open to being okay with kids going to college. Because if I can get an associate's degree in high school and then I'm only going to a 4-year university and I only gotta do 2 years to get my bachelor's in my field of study that I've chosen, a little easy on the parents' pockets. Even if they had to get loans instead of paying a 4-year loan back. I mean, not a 4-year loan, but paying, for 4 years, you're only paying for 2. I think that works. I think that works. It's just me. I think that's awesome. But it's like had a conversation, and it was more of oh, I can't wait till my birthday on this date because then I can go to work. I said, well, why do you need to work? And the response was because money rules everything. You can't do nothing without money in this world. And I was like, oh, as a parent, I had to have a conversation. Now the conversation changes because the mentality for our children to only think that is a lot of other kids his age that think the same way. It's money, money, money. How do you get the money? How do you get the money? And when you get the money, how responsible are you with that money? Because money come and money go. We all know that. There was a group of kids, guys that worked at Whataburger. And I thought it was funny because I went in. I normally don't go in. I'm a drive-through type of person. But I went in and I sat down and I heard them talking. And basically, all of them had a plan to work at Whataburger for like literally 4 months, stack their paper, and then get whatever it is that they was trying to get and be done with it. And then they said that they were going to focus. They was going to, go back to playing ball or whatever the case may be. And I'm thinking like, damn, that's cool. But it was the whole deal of the mindset is I need the money, but also too, because I'm in a well-off area, my parents got the money too. So my parents' money is my money. And it's like today you got to find yourself in a position where you're telling your children, my money is my money. You don't have any money. See, the government only tells me I need to provide a roof over your head, done, and give you some food, bread and water. Hello, you're not malnutrition, and you're good. And I can put some clothes on your back, right? They didn't tell me to go put a Miri on your back. They didn't tell me to go put Nike Techs on your back. They didn't tell me to go grab God Essentials and all of those other things. They didn't tell me to put nerdy merchandise on your back. See what I did there? Neither here nor there. But our kids see that and right now we say entitlement, right? They feel that they deserve that right now. These college talks, it was more like, okay, well, what have you done already? What have you went and go looked? Did you go look somewhere? Did you go, internet is in your hand. Did you go see what the best schools are or where the best school is? It was like, oh, whoa. Go right ahead, sir. What's the whoa about? I don't want to go too far. Meaning what? When you say you don't want to go too far, you don't want to go over to the next state, or you don't want to go over, or you don't want to go to a whole different time zone. Oh, I want to stay in state. I said, wow. Okay. Blanket. I said, all right, cool. Not a problem. Let me go ahead. I said, did you just pull up Google and see what the best schools are? Nah, I ain't even done that. Why not? Oh, I ain't had no time to think about it. I said, well, technically you did. Because if you say I want to be an engineer and I want to go do X, Y, and Z, Google, best schools for this. Popped up real fast for me. Less than 2.3 seconds, right? I did that. I told them, of course, 2, let's see, we in Texas. We got 2 in the top 12 best engineering schools here. So we'll go look into that. That's not a problem. The problem is, and I've talked about it on here before, is applying yesterday's thought processes to today's society. Applying yesterday's thought processes to today's parenting style. And the children have changed. Everybody say, oh, them kids, they've changed. We may do things similar, but because they have more resources and they have a lot of more information, you have to parent differently in these situations. You run into you're gonna run into some roadblocks, some hurdles, some obstacles, all of those things, right? And you gotta find a different way to reach your child. I'm not saying go create a whole tickety talk or Instagram post or a snap post and be like, hey, I'm in your DMs. I'm trying to let you know to go to college. You know what I'm saying? I listen, we ain't got that kind of money. You probably gonna have to apply for some financial aid if you don't get you a scholarship. I ain't telling you to go out and do all of that now. And you would think having a simple conversation with your child would be easy. And I don't care how much you talk to your children. I talk to my children a good amount. And when I say a good amount, it's you have to find a balance. So even finding that balance of having fun with them, showing them new things, but then also talking to them and getting them to think getting them to think on their own. Yeah, I do all of that. But then when you start asking them about them, and I get it. They're still young and they're still growing. They're still figuring things out. But they get a little shaky. They get a little, their shoulders get to moving and whatnot. And you be like, what? Why are your shoulders moving? What's going on? What's the problem? Talk to me. What's really going on? And you don't really understand what it is, but it's that uncomfortability of saying, I got to talk about me. Now, here's this. In my day job, when I interview, there are people young between 20 and 25, and then now it's seemed like it's moving into the older age ranges, 30s and 40s. I don't think I've ever interviewed anybody. Well, recently I haven't interviewed anybody over 40, but these kids from 20 to I'm gonna say 38, when I've interviewed them and you ask them about them, it's like I struck a nerve. I hit the funny bone. They get all awkward or whatnot. And it's like, yo, I'm asking you about you. And I feel like everybody should ask themselves that question. Who am I? What do I do? I feel like you owe that to yourself. I feel like the strongest thing that you can do is know who you are, or not the strongest, but the best thing that you can do is know who you are. And once you know who you are, you know how to go out here and attack this world, this society that you're living in, right? We're living in America. America is a little different now. We know this. America is different for every ethnic group. African Americans, Native Americans, or indigenous people, Spanish, the whites. Every ethnic group has perks, and then there are some disadvantages. Some might say the whites don't have any disadvantages, but there are disadvantages, okay? They can't say the N-word, all right? That's a disadvantage. It might just be one, but it's still a disadvantage, and we know that some of them say it, but that's not the main point here. You get what I'm saying? We have advantages and disadvantages throughout every ethnic group. But if you know who you are, and you are aware of what you can do, then I think that it's easy for you to be able to devise a plan for yourself, make a little strategic plan, and go achieve your dreams or whatever it is that you want to do in life. When I had to explain that to my child, he was like, whoa, what are you talking about? I was like, listen, we're melon. You know what I'm saying? We're black, okay? That's what it is. We're black men, and we have a little take back. And I said, here's the kicker. Discrimination happens on all levels, whether you see it or not. For me, my first and foremost thing, if I feel like I've been discriminated on, I believe it's because of my age. Maybe I'm a little bit older now where I can't really use that. But the first thing I want to say is because I've always dealt with older people, and when I don't get afforded certain opportunities, I think it's just because, oh, you're young, you don't know. And when I look around what room I'm trying to get into, everybody in that room is at least 5 to 10 years older than me. And the fact that, to me, that's the way I see it. Have I been discriminated on because I've been black? Yes. Did it stop me? Did it deter me from trying to move forward with what I was doing? No, it didn't. But that's just me though. That's one person. Not everybody's going to deal with discrimination the same. But when I was explaining this to my son, he was just like, wow. I was like, no matter how much you may, no matter how good you may be for the position, no matter how smart you are, no matter how qualified you are, there's still things in play, that's going to hold us back. Where I work, they do a lot of virtual interviews. Basically, you talk to yourself. You're looking in the camera and you're saying, they got these questions, you answer them, you can take them over however many times you want to. Now the process is you answer these questions, you send over your answers. We don't know if the other person that's reviewing this, we don't know if they take one look at you and say, nope, not a good fit, because they're judging you on your appearance. Whether you put your little sports coat on, you got your tie on, and you're sitting up straight, got the great posture. But if they look and say, this person is black, got a beard, looks like he's a big black man. I'm not even 6 feet tall, okay? I just want y'all to know that. I'm not even 6 feet tall. But, can't really tell. He got some type of locks or whatever that is. Oh, no, I just don't. And they push you to the side. Bias, discrimination, but you can't prove it. But if you never get a response, and then they're doing a whole lot of people like that, you don't know. Because I said, listen, if I could prove it, then of course, we wouldn't even be having to talk about college, because you say you want to go to college, I'll pay for you to go to college. Neither here nor there. That's a different story. But in those settings, there is going to be some bias. The person who interviews you, there is a bias. They can take one look at you and they can say, I can give this person a chance, or fuck this person. Straight up fuck this person. I don't give a fuck about this person. Fuck that person. I don't know that person. I don't owe that person shit. Fuck that person. That person, my experience with this particular ethnic group, they're not great at customer service. They're not this. They're not that. They have attitudes. Everyone that I've came across has been rude to me. So I'd be damned if I hired one. If you look in certain other areas, some people, depending on who the leader is, you'll start seeing their ethnic groups get into higher positions. There's one company I used to work for. When there was a black manager, there were a lot of black supervisors. When there was a Spanish director, there were a lot of Spanish supervisors. It's one of those things. I'm going to hire what I'm familiar with. I'm going to hire what I'm comfortable with. Those are biased. When you look up and say, okay, hey, my last 5 hires have been Spanish. But they was like, well, the director's white. No, the director is not white. The director married a white man and got a white last name. And she is a pale Spanish person that looks white, depending on the color of her hair. So when you go and you look and you say Spanish, 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 and then when you find out that that person is Spanish as well, you go, oh, I see what you're saying. It happens. That's the reality of our society. It happens all the time. When I sit there and I show my son, I'm like, yo, look, this is what I have. This is where my skill set is at. This is X, Y, and Z, X, Y, Z, Z. Said, why they keep on saying that? He asked me, why do they keep saying you're overqualified? I said, they put a bunch of fluff behind it, but that's just their way of saying, nigga, we don't want you over here. That's the reality. We don't want you over here. We you you did great. You did great over wherever you at, whoever gave you that opportunity. Kudos to them. I said, yeah, you don't know who gave me an opportunity over there, but I'll tell you who gave me an opportunity over there. It was a white man. A white man gave me an opportunity, and I excelled, and I exceeded his expectations in that role, and went so far to tell another white man that, hey, damn, like, yo, you think I didn't, we had such and such in here, and he didn't do great, but man, he's killing it. And that was one of the first times in my life that I understood the thought process of how it's going to work in this corporate America. So, internship, he interned a white guy. The white guy could not get the job at all, couldn't grasp it or nothing. Kind of like a low budget Will Ferrell lookalike. So that may have something to do with it too. But because of that, the guy sucked ass, and he was white, looked like Will Ferrell, and he sucked ass. So he thought automatically, the boss assumed, well, Nerdy's coming in. He's a black guy. If the white guy couldn't get it, I know this black guy's not going to get it. But then when I showed up and showed out, and I kept on overachieving, it was like he had to go tell another white guy, like, yo, this guy's freaking great. He's freaking amazing. But I had to work extra harder than the other guy, the other white guy. I had to work harder than the white guy just to show. But to me, I look at it as, sure, I have to, okay, you don't know me from left from right. I got to come here and I got to prove myself. I got to show you that my skill sets will continue to grow, and I don't just fixate on one thing. I expand my mind, and I will make you look good, because I feel like in any job that you get, if you have a boss, your job is to make your boss look good. That's part of you. That's part of your job. So it's like, oh no, my job is just to do what they tell me to do. Well, I'm not a worker like that, right? So different bosses, they have an understanding, like, no. These are my duties. I'll do those. But also too, my deal is to make my boss look good, so that when my boss moves on, I'm not gonna say I'm a shoe in, but I'm showing you that, hey, with my skill set, yeah, I probably would be better suited for that role. Okay. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything that you guys don't know, or maybe you don't. But sharing that information with my son, he started asking me more questions, and he was just like, well, Dad, like, this is what I have to look forward to. And I said, listen, I hope not. I pray that you don't have to go through some of these experiences that I went through, because I don't think that you will handle them the way that I did, right? Trauma from my childhood. Don't need to dive into that today. It's not no real hardcore trauma, nothing like that, but just something that I don't feel like I need to dive into. But it kind of helps shapes the person that you are. I'm a more of what's the solution type of person. Like, yeah. You can cry, you can whine, you can go through all the emotions. Yeah. What's the solution? And do I want my son to be that way? No, I don't want any one of my sons to be that way. But they're not going to handle those situations the way that I handled them. And I would be more than happy for them not to be able to go through those experiences, because, we're supposed to be getting better as a society. We're supposed to be putting out better people, and we would hope that these people don't look at somebody and just go ahead and judge them by their hair, how big they are, the color of their skin, and just say, on paper, you look great. But when I talk to you, had a conversation with you, some of the things that you said sent off some red alarms, and I might have to pass on you, not because you're overqualified, but just because I don't think that you're a great fit based off the responses that you gave, and that made me alarmed. That's it. That's all. You know what I'm saying? Some of the people look great on paper, and then they come in and they sit back and they throw their hands back and they be like, yeah. So, or they get comfortable and untuck their shirts. This has really happened before. Physical, face to face, doing interviews. And I'm like, yo, what the hell is going on here? Felt like I was on Punk'd or something like that. But like, yo, you just got super comfortable and laid back in the chair. Do you not realize that you're in an interview? Neither here nor there. That person did not get the job. Not because of the color of the skin, but because the laxy-daisyness of just professionalism. Like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm going to be cool with you. I'm going to talk to you like you're a person. We're going to do a couple jokes, and you're going to tell me about yourself, and we're going to go from there. You're going to answer these questions. That's it. That's all. It's not that hard. Talk about yourself. That's that. But neither here nor there. I know I'm kind of bouncing back and forth between two topics. But with the kids today, we have to understand that we can't use yesterday's thought processes. We can't use yesterday's thought processes when it comes to raising them and getting them wanting to go to college or helping them to get in it. I know it's, like I say, it's tough right now. It's challenging because our parents told us something, we did it. He goes, oh, you were this hard-headed when you, no. Not all of us. All of us know. Some of our parents didn't even talk to us. So we can't even say we gave them the blues when we were teenagers or whatever the case may be. But it was more like, hey, do what the fuck I say or I'm going to put your ass out or I'm going to beat your motherfucking ass. All of that. And then you go, right, gotcha. But just talk to your kids. Share your experiences. Let them know early. 14, I think, is a wonderful age to kind of start having those conversations with them. Don't beat them down with it. Find a good balance when it comes to that communication, and don't make it. You don't have to bring it up day in and day in, day out, day in, every single day. You don't have to do that because then they're gonna resent what the hell you're saying and they're just gonna tune you out. But talk about it. Bring it up. Hey, did you look at this? Set goals. Set, hey, timelines or whatever. Hey, by this day we need to be looking at this. Hey, we got to do some community service. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I want you to do community service in what it is that you're going to do, or you volunteer or something like that, right? You want to be, you want to be the mascot. Let me take you to a couple of these games and show you what a mascot do. If you want to go, do engineering, let me go find something where you can go and see what engineers do, different type of engineering, and see if you really like it, if it keeps your interest or whatnot. If you want to build robots, there's things out there. Google will help you. I promise you it will. But I'm not going to beat a dead horse. You guys already know what it is. I'm going to get into a little music, and then when I get into a little music, I'm going to come back with the closeout, and we'll rock it from there. YouTube, sorry, y'all already know what it is. If you want to hear what song I'm playing, go to the DSPs. But until then, here is our jam. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back in here. We are for the closeout. Listen, I'm talking to you directly. Listen, take time to talk to your children. Don't be overbearing with your children. But if you have children and you're getting ready to help them transition into the next phase of their life because you want them out of your house, you know what I mean? You don't have to rush them out the house. I'm going to be honest with you. You don't have to rush them out the house. I don't care what ethnic group you are. You don't have to rush them out the house. Help them find their way. We know that it may took you some time to find who you are. Some folks say we should know who we are about the age of 25. That's putting a lot of pressure on certain people because some certain people are just wanderers and they need a little bit more time. Everybody's not going to learn. Not everybody's going to progress at the same time, at the same rate. So what we have to do is we have to, have a little patience. You know what I mean? If we're all about accountability, let's hold ourselves accountable to putting our children in the best position for them to win and for us to make the world a better place. I know it sounds cliche, but we want the world to be a better place. We want to remove some of these old thinking, some of these biases, so that we can stop having these conversations. Like, I don't want to have to tell my child, hey, because you're black, these are the things that you have to be aware of. You may be the best fitted for the job. You may be the best qualified for the job. You may bring so much to this company, but if that person that is interviewing you, if there is one incline where they don't like about you because you're already black, they can say no, right? And we want to be able to remove that. We want to be able to remove all of those biases, whether it's just, hey, I don't like the way you look. Well, I don't like the way you look. I don't like the color of your skin. I don't like the way your hair is. And it's not going to change overnight, and it's going to take some time. And then, we do got some assholes out there who's just going to be like, yo, I see this guy or I see this woman, and hell, I feel like if I hire this person on, this person might take my job. Because understand, there are a lot of lazy people with jobs in high positions who don't want somebody to come in and outwork them, and then their job is in jeopardy. Because one thing that we know about the world is that people love their comfort. So get out of your comfort zone, have conversations, talk to your children, put them in the best position. Don't use yesterday's mindset. Don't use yesterday's thought processes on trying to connect and communicate with your child, because the way that we communicated in the 90s, in the 80s, is not the way that we communicate today in the 2000s and 20s, okay? So let's just be open-minded and have patience. Practice it. Whoever you pray to, ask for patience. Practice it with your children, because, of course, we know they will be the ones to actually push your patience to limits beyond your imagination. But that's it. That's all. Listen, I am your guy, that guy, Nerdy G. This has been That's Random Podcast, the podcast where we take a little time to explore the extraordinary and ordinary. Not only that, I go all over the place sometimes, but that's why it's called That's Random. I appreciate you if you made it this far in the broadcast. Thank you for coming. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Hope to see you on the next one. I'm your guy, Nerdy G, and I'm out.